This is Dr. Mariah White, host of Your Life Matters. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hello everybody, it's No Filter Friday on Public House Media, and I am so tired. But the show must go on, and wonderful, wonderful things have happened this week. New robe this week because I'm at the Omnia. So we're doing the Omnia robe thing. Oh, there goes my... Hang on a second. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, great. Anyway, so this week is an Omnia. And it's super nice. It's one of those, like, smooth on the outside, fuzzy on the inside sort of things. So, I dig it. I love it. Highly recommend it. Anyway, still on the road. And consequently, now this is the third week that I've been doing the show on the road. Is that you, David Bobke? Please tell me that it is and that it sounds okay. New Orleans is, like, the quietest place I've been for the show. Myrtle Beach, loud AF, as I'm sure you remember. South Beach was quieter, but there was like some police activity and some rowdy morons downstairs. But New Orleans is quiet. Or it's quiet at the Omni, I should say. Anyhoozles, hello! Evening sounds good. Thank you, David. Oh, what would I do without you? You're so wonderful. If you're coming in, can you leave me a comment, please, so I know who you are? And also, take a second to share the show, because I can't do it when I'm broadcasting from my phone. So I'm relying on you lovely people to share it for me. Obviously, I'll share later, but for the time being, I need you to do it. Otherwise, it won't get done until later, and that's not what we want. We want, we need our homies. We need the people that we know and robe, basically. So a couple things happened this week. Obviously the major thing is Ghislaine Maxwell's court documents got released, but let's warm up a little bit and talk about Heather Locklear for a second. It's funny, when I was driving over here, I passed the sign for Bayou Labattery, and I was like, oh, if you're not a Steel don't say that you know Steel Magnolias if you don't know the sign, basically. And I was thinking about some movies that have been set down here. But anyway, I guess when Heather Locklear worked on the First Wives Club, she was playing the younger wife of somebody, whoever. And I guess she had a ton of dialogue, but it ended up on the cutting room floor, which I can totally relate to. But I guess, it was in the script in a funeral scene, like, not in, Wedding Crashers funeral scene, like a serious movie, First Wives Club funeral scene. A guy is supposed to, grab Heather Locklear, or, touch Heather Locklear's boob. And I guess he, took full advantage of his, of that one-take wonder. And then she asked for her, name to be taken out of the credits because she didn't end up having dialogue anyway. But what I thought was interesting was that she said it was like a one and done take kind of a thing, which kind of makes sense. But she said that she was really thankful that the camera followed the hand down and that it wasn't on her face, because she said her jaw dropped. And I was like, well, that would require a camera rehearsal and finding focus marks and something like that. So did they not rehearse this? Or they rehearsed it with stand-ins for camera and then just said, let it do whatever it is that you do? My little director brain, regardless of my, time that I've spent with the intimacy coordinator for HBO, it just sounds kind of strange to me that they wouldn't work out that scene between them and when I say between them, I mean, like, in this context, between the two actors, the director, and the DP and whoever's pulling focus, that seems like that would be a conversation. And then also, like, you know, you don't necessarily need to rely on crew or director to figure out your more uncomfortable, more intimate scenes. That's kind of not necessary. Like, I've had several, because I've done so many sex scenes in movies, I've had several actors come knock on my trailer door and be like, hey, how do you want to do this? Because my wild self, I don't care. Basically nothing, or I shouldn't say nothing bothers me, but I haven't run into anything not lately, ever. I haven't run into anything ever that's bothered me in that regard. Most of the time, sex scenes are way worse for guys than they are for ladies, which is, you know, part of the situation. But, sorry, what I was trying to say is that, you don't have to wait for crew to, like, work out a scene that's gonna be awkward to shoot for both of you. Like, obviously this should have been a conversation with the director and the DP, especially if, you know, they had enough juice to, know that you're tilting down or following down. I guess it could have been Steadicam, and somebody who's pulling focus and has those focus marks from here to God knows where. Bizarre. But yeah, that was a strange #MeToo situation to come out of this week. But let's get to the good stuff. The good juice is that Ghislaine Maxwell's court documents have been released, save for this one conversation that she had with a deposition that she gave a few years ago. And I guess that's an appellate court, and once that comes out of appellate court, we will have an idea of whether they're going to allow, hello, people coming in, leave me a comment so I know who you are. So once that goes through appellate court, we'll get an answer as to whether or not that's going to be added to the public court documents, or it's going to stay sealed. My spidey senses are telling me that they're going to let it come out, because pushing through appellate court's kind of hard, and they've already released quite a bit of documents. The only argument I could think that that her defense could make is that because it's such a, you know, public case, that it's going to sway opinions and blah 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 blah. But her goose is cooked anyway, so there's that. Anyway, I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's come out in the last, like, 17 hours, basically, about how, you know, these orgies on Epstein Island were nonstop. And if you participate in No Filter Friday, you already knew that. That was not news. But maybe it's news to other people. So, Ghislaine Maxwell, being the HBIC, as far as procurement of girls for Jeffrey Epstein goes, you know, that was like her main gig, or it seemed to be. And there was some discrepancy about how she said that she hadn't been in contact with Jeffrey Epstein since his arrest in 2019. And the lie detector test determined that to be false. And so I'm saying that in like the Maury way, not an actual lie detector test, because they had receipts. They didn't need no polygraph needed. There was receipts. Test results determined that was a lie. Because there's an email that they found between, hi Alexa, thanks for coming in. There's an email that they found that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were talking back and forth on how she needed to, go out with her head held high and stop acting so guilty, stop acting like she was party to, you know, these accusations or, you know, the charges that Jeffrey Epstein had filed against him, all that good stuff. So it was basically, and he like wrote her like a little, like media statement about how, you know, these things that were coming out with her name attached were, of course, categorically untrue, and she was a victim of, what did she say, libel and slander and, just this nonsense, because we all know what a evil, disgusting witch she is. So I feel like the media has been far too kind to her. Far too kind to her. Even with these, articles that came out today basically about how she was, participating in these orgies and forcing underage girls to perform oral sex on her, which is just one of the grosser things that I've read recently. But at the same time, though, I know exactly what was going on that island, and unfortunately that was one of the tamer things. Hello, people that are coming in. Send me a comment so I know who you were. And also take a second to share the show, because when I broadcast from my phone, I can't do it myself until afterwards. And that, kids, is no fun. But I guess Virginia Goff went into detail on her exploitation at the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell. And her goose is totally cooked. It's amazing. The reason why these court documents became unsealed, as I told you last week, I think, is because in a retaliatory sort of a way, Ghislaine Maxwell filed a case against Virginia Goff for slander? Defamation case. And most of the time slander plays, one hand washing the other kind of a thing. I guess to try to scare her from talking, or, cornered animals behave like cornered animals. So as part of that, they decided to, a judge decided to release these court documents that were from before, and we're waiting on this deposition that was from between her and her lawyers from a few years ago. But save for that, it's all out there. So go look for it, because despite the show being called No Filter Friday, there's some of that stuff I can't even read out loud, despite how wildly comfortable I am talking about literally anything. It's still nasty. And you know what? You need to see it with your own eyes. That's where the no filter is, with your own eyeballs. Go look at it with your own eyes. That's what you should do. You don't need me to read it for you. You're an adult. Maybe. Even still, you can read. You don't need me to read it for you. Anyway, so we'll see if this, other deposition comes out of appellate court or not. I think it will, given the circumstances, but I've been fooled before. We'll see. And then on top of it, what struck me as interesting is that in these documents, Virginia Goff talks about how she met Ghislaine Maxwell. And it was at Mar-a-Lago when she was working. And I guess she was reading a massage book. And here comes Ghislaine Maxwell trotting up to her, telling her about, oh, you know what? I know someone who needs a traveling massage therapist. And she's like, and Virginia Goff's like, I don't actually do massage. This is the first book I've ever read. And I'm not even actually a masseuse. I'm just reading a book. And she's like, you know what? That's fine, because we can train you. And if this person likes you, you're going to make so much money and you're going to travel and blah, 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 blah. And one day you're going to get certified. And it's just so incredibly gross. The handbook, the pimp and handbook that this woman was playing by was just, she wasn't even creative. She might have been, attentive, but certainly not creative. And it's just, oh God, it's so gross. If you want me to do an episode on pimp grooming techniques, it will be juicy. Kind of off topic for the show, but if you want it as a bonus episode, I'm here for you. But you have to let me know in the comments if that's what you want. Or slide in my DMs, obviously. Besides that, that revolutionary bombshell, Ghislaine Maxwell's time the clock is a-ticking. I think her goose is sufficiently cooked. She's not cute enough or known enough, or she doesn't have enough money to, like, unravel her way out of this. And this is the key to the whole thing, the Clintons are named over and over and over and over and over again in these documents about being on the island, being on the plane, being at his house in New York, being at his compound in New Mexico. And that, as you all know, is certain death to basically anybody. So we'll see how this goes for her. We'll see what her suicide's like. We'll see if it's all the same as Jeffrey Epstein. But anyway, so that is enough No Filter Friday. You need to go. We're getting to the point in this whole journey where you need to, I feel like you're adolescents now in the way of, the research of these things. So I'm not going to read the stuff to you. I want you to go look at it with your own eyes and just let me guide you through it if you have questions, not lead the horse to water and make it drink. I think that's more appropriate these days because I'm seeing a lot of stuff where people are like, oh my God, this can't be real. I don't believe this. This is crazy. This is a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. I wish there weren't all of these kids that were, snapped, raped, tortured, killed, whatever. I wish that was the case. It's just not. It's real as rain and it sucks. But everybody has to get there on their own terms so we can actually get over this hump in history and make it to the other side of it. So, with that being said, that's enough No Filter Friday for this week. I will see you all next week. And hopefully we'll get a new document out of appellate court. That would be amazing. And check out other shows on Public House Media, like the new show Catch Up. You should definitely check out. And then, like the show, subscribe, give us a review, a rating, a color, a locker, a gold star, something like that on anywhere you get your podcast. And I will see you all later. Bye, 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 bye.